All right, let's just jump right in. We talk a lot about AI as a tool, right? An assistant, something to make our jobs a little easier. But what if we're thinking about it all wrong? What if AI isn't your co-pilot, but your new manager? And that's exactly what we're going to explore. What happens to our skills, our careers, and maybe even our whole sense of purpose when the machine starts calling the shots?
Now, this isn't some prediction from a sci-fi movie. This is a real quote from a chief technology officer talking about something that just happened. I mean, think about that for a second. A project that would have taken weeks, maybe months of meetings and approvals and budgets was just done. In 2 hours. This is the new reality. This is the speed we're living in now.
And that incredible speed, well, it brings us right to the heart of the problem, the central question of our time. For anyone who's built a career, who spent years honing a craft and getting really good at something, what does it all mean when an AI can do that same work in a handful of minutes? That's the question we're going to unpack.
To really get what's happening, you have to realize this isn't some slow, gradual change. It's a cliff, a sudden drop. The source material calls it a phase shift, a moment where everything just changed. And it was all triggered by something they call the December threshold.
So what's just wild about this slide is the sheer acceleration. In 2024, you had basically 0 daily work decisions being made by an AI on its own. But look at the forecast. By 2028, that number is going to be 15%. The big tipping point, which AI expert Andrej Karpathy pointed out, was December 2025. That's when these AI coding agents just crossed a coherence threshold. And this isn't just a theory. By that winter, a quarter of the startups at Y Combinator had code bases that were 95% generated by AI.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, it pretty much means the death of project management as we know it. I mean, just imagine a world with no backlogs to groom, no more sprint planning meetings. A client brings up an issue on a call, and boom, it's fixed within the hour. The entire rhythm of how we work is being turned completely upside down.
But all this incredible efficiency, it comes at a price, a big one. This massive leap in productivity has an equally massive human consequence. So what happens when the very skills that defined your entire career just suddenly become worthless?
And this slide, man, it just lays out the challenge perfectly. For decades, being a leader meant drilling down into the details, owning the execution, proving you had mastered the craft. That's how you showed your value. But now, with AI in the picture, that whole approach just creates friction. The new way to lead is the exact opposite. You have to zoom out and set the big picture intent. You put guardrails on the solution instead of building it yourself, and your job is to validate the final outcome. The skills that got you here are not the skills that will get you there.
And there's a real emotional toll to this whole inversion. When a super skilled Google engineer watches an AI do their life's work better and faster than they can, the feeling isn't excitement, it's grief. It's the feeling of losing a part of your identity.
And this feeling of loss, it's not just personal. It's already showing up in the job market in a big way. This next number represents one of the first major shockwaves. Just take a look.
Yep, that's the real-world impact. A 25% drop in entry-level tech hiring. In a single year. When AI can handle all the foundational tasks, those first rungs on the career ladder, they just start to disappear. This isn't some problem for the future. It is happening right now.
And the change isn't just personal, it's organizational. We're starting to see this radical restructuring of companies themselves, all centered around a pretty startling new idea, the AI as a manager.
I mean, get this. The very structure of work is inverted. You have AI agents acting as department heads, managing whole teams of other specialized AI agents. And how do humans interact with them? Through a simple chatbot. In this world, the org chart is no longer a hierarchy of people. It becomes a prompt, something you just feed to an AI.
But here's the paradox. If this tech is so incredibly powerful, why are so many of these projects failing? Gartner is predicting that by 2027, a full 40% of these big AI initiatives are either going to be canceled or will have just failed. So if the tech is so good, what's going wrong?
Well, the answer is simple, and it's pretty direct. The technology is not the problem. We are. The failure point is human. We're building this incredible infrastructure, but we ourselves, as the source material puts it, are architecturally unprepared for abundance. So the gap isn't technical, it's spiritual. Which brings us to our final act. How do we adapt? Because if the problem is human,
then the solution has to be human too. The path forward isn't about learning a new programming language, it's about a whole new way of thinking. It's like AI is installing a mirror right in front of us, and we have to be ready for the reflection we're about to see.
And this leads us to a really important new term, the AI native thinker. And it's absolutely critical to understand this is not a technical skill. It's described as a consciousness test. It's the ability to direct these incredibly powerful machines without becoming robotic and mechanical yourself. It's about being able to hold that paradox.
So why is this human consciousness so important? Well, it's because of a concept called jagged intelligence. You see, AI models are not smooth, consistent geniuses. They are simultaneously brilliant polymaths and totally confused grade schoolers. They have these incredible spikes of capability, but they also have huge gaps and massive blind spots.
And this jagged profile, it creates what's called a critical asymmetry, which is really the key to our new role. The AI provides the operational intelligence, all the speed, the scale, the complexity. But humans, and only humans, can provide conscious leadership. That means context, accountability, and ethical judgment. You just can't automate your way to wisdom.
So if that's our new role, how do we prepare for it? Honestly, the most powerful takeaway from the source is this beautiful metaphor. Consciousness is the new code. The inner work you do on yourself is now your most valuable professional development.
So what are the practical survival skills for this new era? Okay, first, experiment constantly. You have to get your hands on the new tools and just play with them. Refuse to be left behind. Second, your job now is to define the intent and set the boundaries. Stop trying to control how the work gets done. And third, your value comes from validating the final outcomes. Your judgment is the final crucial step.
Because ultimately, focusing only on the technology is just a recipe for disaster. This quote says it all. Without a parallel investment in human consciousness, in helping people adapt to this new reality, all this powerful technology is just an empty cathedral.
And this brings us right back to where we started, with the personal question. The technological threshold was crossed. That mirror is being installed whether we like it or not. The old identities we built around doing the work are fading. So the question isn't if your work will be transformed. The real question is, will you transform yourself first?